Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where in the world you might be. Thank you once again for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. It's the Europa League post-game show. Let's roll.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
For those who are brave enough to join us for this post-game show, welcome. To those listening on our audio platforms, iTunes, Acast and Spotify, thank you for joining. And those listening on replay, because many will still be watching the football, we hope you enjoy the show. At ease, Squaddies at ease, our very special guest and my co-host for today. If you don't know who this man is, you will by the end of the show. Welcome, my friend Tanner, the Bearded Gooner.
How are we, Soph?
It was better before the game.
Despite the last 2 hours.
That's 90 minutes plus injury time that we're never, ever going to get back.
No, and I had a lot of things to do today.
Good evening to all the usual suspects in the house. Lynn, Arnie, Matthew, our chief like officer, Tammy. We got MB in the house. We got CM. We got everybody. Clock Orange, Archangel. Thanks so much for joining us, Squaddies. By the way, I recorded the first episode for Talented Gooners Season 2 this morning, which we're going to watch together when it premieres next week. So watch out for that. I had an absolutely brilliant time, and I can't wait to share this Talented Gooner with you. By the way, there's some horrible news coming out of Italy that there's been an incident in Milan, and Pablo Mari is one of a few people who was stabbed. We just want to send all of our love and good wishes to him, his family, and everyone else who was affected by that. Not nice, not pleasant. This world, sometimes some of the things that are going on are really scary. So always look after yourselves out there. And our love goes to Pablo Mari, who's out in Italy on loan, Tanner.
Horrible 100%. Just, I mean, the game is, there are much bigger things in the world than sport, and just, life in general is paramount among those. And just, have a good thought for Pablo Mari, and obviously everybody involved in what appears to be a very scary situation in Milan. So good thoughts, prayers, whatever your choice is of well wishes and hopes for a speedy recovery for all involved.
Lovely. So let's get stuck into this a little bit before we get to the play ratings and all that jazz. By the way, wait, hold on a second. If Danny D has turned up today, will you please let me know, because he's getting a serious block. You can't not be showing up when your Tottenham are losing and come in and be a tosser when we lose our first game of the season. So just keep your eye on the ball, Squaddies, and you let me know, because I've got the buttons here. I got all the buttons. I can do really good things with my buttons, and I can press them. Just saying.
There's a joke in there somewhere, Soph.
Yeah, there is. There is.
Just saying.
Okay, what is he in? What's his alias today, people? What is his alias today? Oh, look, he is a bellend. Right, block. See ya. I'm not doing that today. Don't turn up when we lose. Be a man and turn up all the time. Just really irritates the F out of me. Do you know what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
Tanner, we had a bad... I don't know if we had a bad half against Leeds. Or we had two bad halves. I'll let you answer this for me. We definitely had a terrible second half against Southampton. Didn't really play well in Norway, but, the AstroTurf was a throwback to Kenilworth Road and then some. So I felt that this result has been coming a little bit. Now, look, I'm not going to kill the players. I'm not going to kill the manager. But I think it's fair to say that this result, based on recent performances, has been rearing its ugly head. What say you on that one, mate?
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it was I would say it was a level first half against Leeds. Very poor second half. Level first half against, I wouldn't even say level. I think we were on the front foot in the first half against Southampton, just couldn't finish. Very poor second half against Southampton, and the run of form that we've seen now in the past couple of weeks finally caught up to us today. You're spot on. This result was coming. I will say I'm glad that it came in this fixture and not in the league. But it was definitely coming. And I think it's a matter of Mikel Arteta needs to, what it's come down to for me, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't know that he trusts his full squad 100%. I mean, we know who the best 11 are. We know that if everybody being healthy, we know who he's going to trot out there almost week in and week out. But in games games like this in Norway 2 weeks ago, we needed to see a little bit of rotation. Marquinhos, players getting a rest more than players getting a start. And I think it just goes to show that some players in the side he just doesn't trust. Period. Today was all about management, and unfortunately, we couldn't finish that job. I think we managed the first 20 minutes or so of the first half well, in terms of just let's not go crazy here. Let's try to avoid injury. Let's reserve some fitness, and let's try to nick a win, be it 1-0, whatever the case may be. But a draw wasn't the worst thing in the world today. It would have put us straight into the round of 16, and made next Thursday irrelevant and dead rubber. Mm-hmm. But then the wheels just started to come off. I think playing passive lends itself to eventually the wheels coming off. You have to attack. And I think we're also starting to get figured out a little bit. I think teams are starting to see that there are two ways really that you can force us into errors. And that is play a very high line and press the ball every single place that it goes, to every player, have two guys there and just run your ass off, or sit back at a low block and wait to see if we can break it down.
We don't cope very well when we go a goal down.
No.
I mean, we've been so good from winning positions this season, haven't dropped points. I agree, Amira. Let's all be honest, this result was coming. At least it wasn't in the Premier League, and the loss didn't cost us much today. Important thing is to keep this loss isolated and bounce back strong, like after United. And look, we've seen Chelsea, lose in Champions League. We've seen Liverpool get thrashed by Napoli. We've seen Manchester United embarrassed. And today we lost our first game in the Europa League. We're already through to the next round. The whole thing about today was to get that bye week, as they say in American sports.
That was good.
So that's a little bit disappointing. Like I said at the top of the show, the disappointing part, it just feels like we haven't been playing that well. And beyond our starting 11, we have some issues. So someone just said about the World Cup, and I've been dreading the World Cup, but I don't know about you now, Tanner. I'm thinking, is the World Cup going to come at a time where Arsenal could use the break?
You just said this to me 3 weeks ago. I was not looking forward to the World Cup at all from an Arsenal perspective. Looking forward to it because I do enjoy it. Not looking forward to it from an Arsenal perspective. Now, it almost couldn't come soon enough, really, when we think about it, to just get some of these guys some rest, hit the recharge button, whatever it might be, and regroup, man. We need something. I will say, not to look too far ahead, there's an opportunity, I think, to get back on the front foot on Sunday at home. I think being at home with our crowd, I think is going to do us a world of good. We have not, I mean, last Thursday we were at home. It's you know, it's Europa League. I have been to a Europa League match over there before, and I was at a Europa League match after a North London derby at home, and I can tell you the atmosphere is it was just, in fact, it was Bukayo Saka's very first senior game with Arsenal. It was a few years ago, 2018, I believe December of 2018, but the atmosphere was a little low. So the atmosphere last Thursday seemed like a good atmosphere on television. The atmosphere this coming Sunday for the league match will be amped up.
It will be. It will, and you're right. Being at home is massive. Absolutely.
Yeah, especially right now with the form.
Yeah, MG, you're the lucky one. Missed the entire game due to a power cut. All right, let me read out some messages real quick before we get to the play ratings.
Yeah.
Simon said, going to the World Cup is no excuse. The performance was below par. When you cross the white line, it's all or nothing. Have you bought Kevin Campbell's t-shirt? Is that what's going on there? Matthew Hudson. Matthew, thanks as always for joining. Matthew is the guru behind the Vinny and Vespa gifts that you all love so much. Nice. We're starting to look like sideways and backwards, lacking confidence and intent. And Matthew is the biggest advocate for this team and Mikel Arteta. Xhaka went back to default settings, said Faris. No, I'm not having that. You know why? I'll tell you why. There's a cost. There's no case for Lokonga wanting to play more. And I tell you something, Xhaka's game is so different when Lokonga is playing. And is Lokonga playing, you know, is he playing a 6? Is he playing? I don't understand.
He's a hybrid 6-8.
Yeah. Yeah. Just doesn't work.
No.
We had no control in midfield.
Right.
We were just losing every single battle. And I'll tell you something, and we'll get to it. If I hear anyone complain about Gabriel 6 ever again, I'm going to put you in a detention and a timeout, or maybe even a blockage like Danny D. That dude was so resilient in our game against Southampton. He won every headed ball. We missed him today. We totally missed him, but we'll get into that. V-Dub says, prove we need January signings. At least we can win the group at home, and PSV have to play Bodo. Gooner Kai says, Rob Holding still doing Rob Holding things. Mark B, Holding, Lokonga and Ketia aren't doing enough when selected. Lynn says she would like to see a change in the first 11 playing on Sunday. Jesus on the wing and Martinelli through the middle. That's, you know what, you bring up a really good point. He plays very well. Some people think, Tanner, that Jesus is more effective on the left versus going right down the middle. And he needs goals.
3 of his 5 goals have come from the left, have come from him creating from the left. So
Faris, Faris says we have a small squad. When our best 11 gets tired, we'll start dropping points. Clock Orange, we're not doing great. We lack control of the game. You know what? We did, and we were terrible winning the second ball today. Awful, absolutely awful. And we've been really good at that this season. Carlos reiterating what I said, running out of ideas, especially when we're down. We had overcome that adversity in the Premier League, though. We go to goal down, we get one back. We go to goal down and get one back. The energy levels are off. They're down. Yeah. And you know what? It's only October. Season started in August. It's not like it's February where everyone's super knackered. We haven't even started the League Cup and the FA Cup yet, Tanner.
Yeah. I think that part of it is down to fatigue, to be honest with you.
Kevin doesn't accept that as an excuse. He's like, no, he didn't. When people were saying Saka was tired, and they played not this team together, but in Arteta's first season, they played Thursday, Sunday. There's no Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday, Sunday. Do me a favor. It's the same amount of days. That's just a load of bollocks.
Or Tuesday, Saturday.
But the idea that they're tired. You know, how many Europa League games have they played, right? I mean, this is alarming then. So what's our endurance looking like? What's our conditioning coaching looking like? Can't be this knackered at this point of the season. One more. Go on, Tanner. Yeah, no. Go on.
I don't know if it's fatigue 100%. I think there's also, and I mean it when I say this, and I'm going to probably say it a lot today. I've watched these last few games, and I think, and even if you go back to the loss to United, you see the way teams now want to hit us on the counter, and they know how to turn us over so that they can hit us on the counter. And we are too flat-footed in attack right now that we're overly susceptible to getting hit on the counter because we can't turn. We're not moving. An object in motion stays in motion. We're not in motion. And I have watched over the past X number of years, 3, 4, 5 years, when we're not moving, and I would say, I mean, this is probably accurate of any football team, but when you're not moving, things aren't going to happen. And I see too often we get the ball with 15 yards of space in front of us, and we stop, we hold the ball, we're looking around, and no one is doing anything, including the player with the ball. He's standing there just holding it, like, checking his watch, have a cup of coffee, read the newspaper, check Twitter a little bit, see if the Bearded Gooner said anything today, whatever the case may be. But we need motion. We need movement. There's none of that right now, and that's where the problems start. Why? Is it fatigue? I don't know. But that's where the problems start. People not getting into space. People not taking the time they're giving. Time and space, two most important things in this sport. You have one, you have the other. You either in attack, you want to create time and space. In defense, you want to take it away.
Well, let's hope our Arsenal women get a better result in the Champions League.
Amen.
Tonight. James Johnson in the house. That was coming, wasn't it, Sophie? Yeah, absolutely. Has about as much use as a Greg's sausage roll at a bar mitzvah. Jeez.
James, well done. Well done.
Okay, let me give you...
That's like as slippery as a trout in a dishwasher.
Let me give you guys some stats before Tanner starts taking us through the squad. Okay. This is a perfect example of how possession means diddly squat, right? They had 8 shots. We had 15. We had 3 on target. They had 5. 70% possession to the Arsenal Football Club. You can do the math and figure out how much possession PSV had. 604 passes by the Gunners. 259 for PSV. 604 passes. We did nothing. Sorry, guys. I'm not having a freak out or a meltdown. I'm very calm. Listen to the tone of my voice. 604 passes. Jeez. 14 fouls from them, 9 from us, 4 yellow cards from us, and Xhaka misses the next game.
Can I just say real quick, Soph, on that point?
Yeah,
I don't hate that. I don't like I don't like what he did to get the yellow card. I don't hate that he's going to miss the next game. Force him to take a week off.
Totally. Neil Gunnison says PSV were in rude health. Very nice. Keep those puns coming. We do love a pun on this show. Yeah. I know that Tanner loves a good pun. No red cards. They were offside. Okay. They put the goal in the net 3 times and it was disallowed, but their offsides were totally offside. Their timing was a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was blatant. They were.
Yeah, it was blatant. Offside. Yeah, and 6 corners for us, 3 for them. Right, let's get stuck into this, Tanner.
604 passes. That's nothing more than the horseshoe of despair. This is all the ball is doing. It's right around the perimeter the whole time.
Of despair.
The horseshoe of despair. Give credit to my buddy, my good friend Ryan, for the horseshoe of despair. I believe he coined that phrase sometime ago.
Haven't heard Ryan's mouth, people. You're missing out on that.
Yeah, Ryan doesn't know how to spell censorship, so
Lone Star Londoner says Bearded loves a hot cross bun.
Lone Star, it has been a while, my friend. I hope you're well. I'm happy to see you in the chat, my friend. I did see you say hello earlier, so thank you very much. Appreciate it. But,
okay.
Let's get into it. We'll build our way out from the back as Arsenal like to do so. If we will start with Aaron Ramsdale. Let me ask you first. I missed the very beginning of the game. I did not see the lineup. Is there something wrong with Matt Turner, or Arteta just chose Ramsdale today? I don't know. I'm asking legit.
I did not hear of anything Maybe the squaddies will let us know. And by the way, also, if you get a quote from Arteta, put it in
Yes,
the
please.
chat, people. But unless you know, I didn't hear anything. I was surprised to see Ramsdale in goal.
Very surprised. Very surprised.
And I'm not being funny. How many goals has Matt Turner conceded, Tanner, in Europa League? Do we know? One of the squaddies will let us know. But Rambo had to pick the ball out of the net. Okay, 3 times it wasn't relevant, but it went in there 3 times. Okay, he's injured.
Okay,
groin
so
injury.
so groin. Okay.
Gunner Blog said groin injury. Right. Well, we missed him in Europa League because he's hardly conceded.
1, I think. I think he's given up 1.
Okay, so Tanner, let's see. What would the narrative on social media had been if Matt Turner had done the air punch?
When you're trying to win the group, why are you starting your backup goalkeeper? Hindsight, Soph, will always be 2020. In this age of social media, we can always have a little bit of revisionist history, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Matt Turner's healthy, he gets the start. If he punches the air and misses, okay. The narrative, and who knows, maybe there's an anti-American narrative that goes up against him, although I kind of doubt that. I don't know about that, but who knows?
No, I think there's a lot of prejudice towards American players. And I had this whole conversation when we first signed him, and I wasn't having it. Hopefully his injury is not too serious.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if that had been confirmed, which is why I was asking you guys, because I don't like to say without having a 100% confirmation from the club or from the gaffer in a pre or post game interview. And I really hope he's going to be okay and it's not long term, because he will be the starting goalkeeper for the United States. And I hate to see his dream lost. Exactly, Soph says, Mark, most of us wouldn't have had an issue with Ramsdale starting. I thought he was awful today. Absolutely awful. He gets a 3 for me. He's had one of those games where he gets overly excited, and he made some good saves. Maybe I'm being harsh. I'll give him a 5, Tanner. I just didn't think it was the best game.
I don't think it was his best game. The punch he missed. If this is a league game, I'm probably a lot more upset than what I am right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you're very calm. I like it. I mean, we're both calm, but I'm being more ruthless than you.
He did not have a good game. I'm going to split your difference. You started 3, you went 5. I'm going to go 4 for Ramsdale. The punchy, you get paid to do that. That's your job. You can't screw that one up. But he had a save early on that I think maybe caught him off guard a little bit, and he dove to his right and got his palm on the ball, and it went out for a corner. And I thought that was actually a tremendous save. I didn't think he did anything. His distribution was average. I don't think he did anything.
Didn't get much protection, did he?
He did not. Right. And that's why it's tough to be harsh on him, because we got opened up at the back on the counter for their goals, and 3 that were disallowed. Can you really, let's start with the first Gakpo goal that was disallowed, that when he chipped him, what's he going to do? I mean, he comes out, he tries to cut down the angle, which is the way, in my opinion, it should be played. I know there are other people that would say no, but he comes out, he tries to cut down the angle, Gakpo chips him. Again, it's offside, but I think in the 3 that were disallowed, I don't think he would have really been at fault for any of them. But unfortunately, the second one that goes in, and I missed their first goal, by the way.
The first one, I felt like it just got the speed of it, I think, got past him, but it looked more centered than to his left. So I mean, look, it was a great finish. It really was. He made a couple of really good saves, but he seemed, a little disjointed tonight. And I just don't think, he had a really good game. Let's move on. Who's next?
Okay, I guess let's move right to left. We'll go with Takahiro Tomiyasu at right back today. I'll let you start with this one.
The Terminator.
I like it.
Okay, I love what he brings to this team. in terms of he's literally the best deputy you could ask for, right? Before his injury, the way he covered the centre backs last season was a revelation. We hadn't really seen that before. I don't think he's been that great this season. And I don't know if the injury has taken a little out of him. He offers nothing going forward. Nothing. I mean, am I being too lately when I've seen him play, well, especially when he's on the left, which I find the experiment should be over, and
Yes.
Martinelli suffers from that,
Yes.
Tanner.
Yes.
I just don't get that. For me, he's not an overlapping right back. He's not going to offer you that, which is why you rely on that 3 in the center of the park. But what he offers defensively is fundamental to this team. I just think he's been off. I'll give him a 5.
I think playing on the left he's much. I actually, he might get the highest number of anybody that of anybody today. I'm going to give him a 5. He's much more comfortable on the right, but he's not. You're spot on. He's not an overlapping fullback. He does on the right what Zinchenko does on the left. He likes to cut into the middle and let the winger basically do the overlapping in the final third. That's where he likes. That's where he's at his best. And I thought today, oddly enough, as no one else around him is really playing well, if there were a bright spot for us today, I actually would say it was Tomiyasu. I'm not saying he had a great game. He didn't. I'm kind of trying to polish a turd here, if you will. But he was a 5. But I thought of his games that I've seen him play this year, that I thought he looked his best today. And again, not saying much. It's only a 5 for me, but he's much more comfortable on the right and playing almost an inverted attacking fullback role and letting Saka stay out wide.
Yeah. We can't really defend Ramsdale second goal yet. So I was going to thank Highbury Gooner, one of my favorites. Tommy's not been on his game for a while now at Pro, correct. And then someone said he wasn't playing with Saka. Yeah, laughing man. He didn't play with Saka. I just don't see even when he does. I don't. Ben White is so much better in that position for the reasons of how Arteta likes to play and how he brings the ball forward and how they overlap. I don't think it's got anything to do with who he played with on the right in this case, because of the fact that he lacks going forward.
He will drop back defensively more often. He's more inclined to drop back into a more defensive role as the ball gets more forward than Ben White. Ben White will supply that overlap with Bukayo Saka, where Tomiyasu would tend to get inside, let Saka stay out wide, and then once Saka gets the ball, let Saka do the work to get it back into the middle while Tomiyasu drifts back. Can I just say one thing about his name? I wish his first name started with an N so that we could nickname him Nakatomi. I mean, I'm just saying. I
used to work in Nakatomi Plaza, and I never got old of that.
Did you see that there's I'm sorry, I have to say this because I saw it on Twitter the other day and I'm like, this is tremendous. I've never had an advent calendar in my life. I don't even, it's like a countdown to Christmas thing, but there's a Nakatomi Plaza with Hans Gruber falling, and it's an advent calendar. And I saw that. I'm like, yeah, I have to. You can watch Hans Gruber fall 25 floors every day leading up to Christmas.
Tell you, every time I was at the tippy top of that building, that's all I would think about.
He fell a lot more than 25 stories too.
Yeah, he did. Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah.
Right. Who's next?
Moving on. Who we got on the right back there? It was William Tequila Saliba. Surprised that he started today, Soph?
I think Arteta has a method to his madness sometimes. He hadn't been great in the last game. I think he's been off the ball the last couple Premier League games. I think Gabriel's been unfairly targeted. We needed to rest one of them. And maybe he thought with Gabriel having made a couple of mistakes more glaring than perhaps other players, He thought he'd give him a little bit of a rest, but I think we missed Gabriel terribly at the back today.
Massively, yeah.
Saliba's been a Rolls Royce for most of the season. But I mean, that goal that got disallowed, was it Simons that went through young Xavi, the 19-year-old,
Yes.
skinned Saliba, skinned Rob Holding, broke Holding's ankles? Just wasn't good. Another 5 for me today. I just don't think he was Here's the problem, Tanner. The last couple games, like one of the halves against Leeds, the second half against Southampton, this game in its entirety, we've all the players have had a bad game collectively. Now, in some games, you've got Saliba that backs, Gabby if he has a bad game, vice versa, Ben White, Xhaka and Partey, the forwards. But we've played badly as a unit in all facets of the game for the last 3 games. And I said on the show last week, I hope this is a fad and doesn't become a trend. And that's been my biggest concern. I didn't think he was great today. I love him, but I'm not going to sit here and blow sunshine either. He gets a 5.
So when I do player ratings and I give a number, 5 is average for me. 5 is okay. You maybe you just didn't affect the game at all. You didn't have an opportunity to affect the game. Substitutions for me, you typically get a 5. He gets a 4 for me today. He was below average for me, and I think most players were either average or below it. He just looks a little off the pace right now. Is it fatigue? Is it just the new league, new surroundings? Let's face it, the Premier League is the hardest league in the world, the toughest league in the world. Is maybe that starting to take a little bit of a toll on him? It could be, but he gets a 4 for me today. And yeah, they're just not playing well as a unit right now, any of them. It really kind of doesn't matter who he sticks in there. It just doesn't seem to be working as a whole unit. So
yeah. Okay.
Move
Who's
on.
Next?
Rob Holding.
I don't even have a picture for him because he didn't deserve it.
Yeah, it poor from Rob. And I'm a Rob Holding guy. Especially with the new hairdo and everything. I'm a Rob Holding guy. He's just one of those guys that I've always said you need a guy like him in the squad somewhere. He more often than not for me, he's a Mo Elneny kind of guy. I'm a big Mo Elneny fan. Not saying he's a world beater. He's not world class, but he's
a really good squad player.
Yeah. And Rob Holding more often than not is that, but I will say that Rob Holding has this in him. And he was dire today. He was bad. He was bad. The only reason he's going to get a 2 for me is because I don't want to be that much of a dickhead and give him a 1.
Gets a 2 because he wore the shirt.
Yeah.
And he gets an extra point because his hair is the most impressive hair transplant I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
I think we leave it at that with Rob Holding.
Yeah.
Look,
yeah.
It is what it is. You know what you're getting. And clearly, if Saliba's having a bad game, Gabriel starting alongside him would have been a really good idea.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to give him a 3. I'm going to bump it up to a 3 only because he played on the left instead of on the right. I'm a Rob Holding guy. I'm going to throw him a bone.
Look at you. You're little teddy bear that you are. Right?
Yeah.
Giving out hugs.
Every now and then I have a heart, so believe it or not. Left back. Go ahead.
No.
Oh, Kieran Tierney.
Go on.
We'll move on.
Carry on as you are.
Okay. I'm going to say this how many freaking times today that I'm a so-and-so guy, but I'm a Kieran Tierney guy. This dude I love Kieran Tierney. He's the dude that when you get in a fight on the street, he just looks at someone. When your boy gets in a fight on the street, Kieran Tierney's the guy that's going to stand there and look across at someone else and be like, if they go, we go. That's just Kieran Tierney to me. You know, the shorts and short sleeves and the snow. Can't understand a word he says with that Scottish accent. I fucking love it. I love Kieran Tierney. Better today than he's been. Not good enough obviously, Kieran Tierney gets a 4 from me. I love him to death, man. But
He gets such a pass because of that Tesco bag. You know,
I forgot about the Tesco bag. He gets a pass from me because he wears the shorts in the snow. I wear shorts in the snow. But I'm also wearing a big puffy North Face jacket in the snow, too. I'm not out there in short sleeves.
He needs to stop the Bellerin look. You know, the hot pants with the tucked in shirt. That's got to go.
I dig that.
I worry that he's not happy.
Yeah.
Kieran Tierney's always been happy. Like Xhaka hadn't been happy at Arsenal the last 18 months, 2 years. Xhaka's really happy now. May not have been happy today, but you can tell the dude plays happy. Jesus plays happy. Saka, Martinelli. Kieran Tierney, if I look into my crystal football or my Greek coffee cup, doesn't look happy. He didn't play well today. I thought that he was really bright when he came on at Southampton, the best substitute. The other substitutes did nothing, Tanner. But Kieran Tierney, I thought, showed why he maybe should have started that game and left back instead of Tommy. I just think today they had too much for us up front. That front three overpowered every single defensive player and our goalkeeper. And that's going to happen in football. They were just better than us today. I love him. I said on the show last week, I don't know if you agree, he's a bit too old school maybe for Arteta's style of football.
I heard you say that, and look, he's a throwback kind of player. The tucked in shirt, the short sleeves in the snow and everything. I mean, he's a very old school throwback kind of player, and I don't know that his style and I mean that in multiple ways is what Arteta is looking for, and I think Tierney not starting against Southampton last week when I think very clearly he should have given how he performed as a sub. I can understand why he's not happy if all of a sudden he's getting passed over for a guy that is a right back, a right-sided center back, quite frankly, by trade. But he played, Tomiyasu plays primarily on the right. Now all of a sudden he's starting on the left in front of Tierney. Like, okay, I lost my starting job to Zinchenko, but now in midseason I'm losing my starting job to the guy that's the backup right back too. So, if he's unhappy, I would say this. Now, if I'm the coach, and he says, look, I'm unhappy, go work harder. Go do something different, because what you're doing right now isn't enough. But I can understand why he's not happy if he's questioning things a little bit, sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. Karl-Heinz, we're not putting him in the same bracket as Bellerin. We're just saying he shouldn't wear his. I said I'm not putting words in Tanner's mouth. I just rather, we went back to being a bit more scruffy.
But remember, Bellerin was wearing his shirt untucked, and then when KT got here, started following Kieran Tierney's example. So,
all right, let's get to the next one.
Albert Sambi Lokonga playing the, as we said earlier, the hybrid 6-8. I don't know. Ryan and I have conversations about Lokonga almost daily. And I mean, just between he and I in text messaging, trying to figure out what his role really is, because he has said he sees himself as a pure 6. I don't know that I see that in him. There's
was that international? Was that for Belgium though, or was that in general when he said those things? Was he upset?
I thought it was in general. I thought in the interview just asked, where do you see yourself ideally? He said as a number 6. He has his forward movement is good enough to be an 8. I don't think he has the passing to be an 8. I don't think he has that range of passing to pull that off. But I also don't think that he's good enough defensively to be a 6. This is we've got square pegs, we have round holes, and then we have Sambi Lokonga, who is, I don't know what he is. I don't know where he fits on this team. He can't deputize for Thomas Partey. He can't. He's not going to supplant Granit Xhaka. And I would have said that in Xhaka's worst times. I would say that he's not going to deputize for Granit Xhaka. I just don't know where he fits. I think this is where Arteta has to earn his coaching stripes and coach him into a role. He's not good enough to be a Swiss Army knife. You know, oh, I could put him in a 6. I could put him in an 8. I could do this. I could do that. No, he needs a defined role. And I don't know that he fully understands it yet. I hate coming down on the kid because he does. I feel like the effort is there with him, and effort for me goes a long way, but he's just not good enough. I don't know if he needs to play with Thomas Partey at times, because it's like it's one or the other. It's either Thomas Partey or it's Sambi Lokonga.
Is it Partey or Partey? They're asking you in chat.
Well, it's not a party. I'll tell you that it's not a party. Partey? You want to go Partey?
Mark says spot on, Tanner, and you've summarized it brilliantly. Everyone is saying that he needs a loan. Look, yes. 21, I keep saying 21 years old, captain of Anderlecht, managed by Vincent Kompany, recommended by Thierry Henry. The dude is a good player. This is where I do, like you know, Nuno regressed. Nketiah's regressed. Sambi, I think, gets a bit of too much heat because everyone sees him as coming in for Thomas Partey, and that is a very big shoe to fill, and that isn't fair comparing them. And maybe you could say, well, don't compare Nketiah to Jesus. I mean, the drop-off is vast in a few of these positions. Holding, Gabriel. I mean, the drop-off is really massive. But I agree with Algerian Gooner here and what some others have said. He lacks aggressiveness. He's too timid. And in these games in Europe, you can't be too timid, and you certainly can't be too timid in the Premier League.
Can I jump in real quick there, Soph, with what Algerian Gooner said? I almost want to say, back to what I just said, I don't know that the lack of aggressiveness, could it be a lack of decisiveness with him? Could I interchange those words, because I legit don't think he understands fully the role that Mikel Arteta is asking him to play. As far as the loan goes, I agree, but I'm going to give it this caveat. He has to go somewhere where he's going to play. He's going to be the guy, and he needs to play a role very similar to what we're asking him to do. Otherwise, the loan just doesn't make a lot of sense. So I agree with it in theory, but there have to be some caveats with the loan for him.
Kenny, I think everyone's regressed a little in the last 2 or 3 great games.
Yeah.
I think collectively the team have lacked some energy and they've gone a bit off the boil. Right, we're going to speed this up just a little bit because we don't want to keep you here for too longer, so you can go off and watch some football. I just realized we're 45 minutes in, but it's been great. I'm loving this conversation and Tanner's
sorry, I can be long-winded.
Insight as well. No, it's me. I'm the one, you know. Let's get to who's next? Xhaka?
Yes, yeah, Granit Xhaka. Yeah. Yep. Granit Xhaka.
Not his best game today, right? No. He's been so good all season. Just not a great game for
I'm going to give him a 4 because of the yellow card. There was no need to. I get it. I know what you're doing, but keep your head. That's the one thing with Granit Xhaka. He always has that in him. And get up to Simon. I don't know how you say his last name. It looks like Simons to me, but I understand you want to get him off the pitch and you want to get going with play. I get it, but be smart. You're a marked man. They're looking to give you a yellow card and suspend you for the next game. Keep your head about you. And so for that reason, for me, he gets a 4. The backward passing, sideways passing. I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about this. Somebody had said Xhaka reverting back to old form. But when people aren't moving around you and not getting into space where he can put the ball, it's not really his fault. I think he's doing what he can do with the ball if nobody else is giving him an option. No one else is presenting themselves to him for a pass, what's he supposed to do? He's not just going to put the ball somewhere and hope somebody runs onto it. Chances are somebody wearing the wrong colored shirt's going to run onto it.
Yeah.
Also,
I
for
think
that's because of the yellow card.
when you form such a great partnership and the importance of having Partey and Xhaka together, it's a drop off when they're not. Xhaka was unable to be the Xhaka he's been all season, and you see the difference. And you don't want to see that too often, that's for sure. And I agree, Paul. He was working hard, and just like Yirki just said, he had too much to do. Yeah, 100%. These guys are bang on.
Yep,
bang on. They're bang on.
Yep. I might, maybe the 4 is harsh. Like I said, it's just the yellow card. Sorry, Soph. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to give him a 4.5. I'm going to go Magic Mike, and I'm going to give him a 4.572.
Speaking of Magic Mike, I'm disappointed he's not in the chat right now.
Yeah.
Very disappointed. So, Mike, if you watch us on replay and you get this far, I got a problem.
If you get this far. All right, who's next?
Granite Chaka, let's go to Martin Odegaard. That will round out the midfield for us, our captain.
It wasn't a good game. He got subbed. He's getting subbed. Someone asked me, goes, Soph, have you ever seen a captain, not only Arsenal, but a captain in the Premier League that gets subbed as much as Odegaard? Listen, I will stand by him. He's a talent. I don't want to hear it. I'm not going to slag off Duty. But it wasn't good today. He gets a 4.
Yeah, that was the first number that popped into my head was the 4. The subbing off of the captain is questionable at best. And it's a good point to bring up. Have you ever seen a captain, like you said, get subbed as much as he does? I'm going to, for the time being, try to put a positive spin on him being subbed more often than not. In fact, I'm not sure he's ever been subbed for anyone but Fabio Vieira. It could be down to Arteta wanting to get Vieira in the game. There have been times where I feel like the sub, bringing Odegaard off, was the game is in hand. Let's give him a rest. Let's get him off and let's get somebody else that we have high expectations for, some playing time in the league. Let's see what he can do. Today was just not good. For Martin Odegaard, it's a 4 for me, and I think the substitution today was warranted. I think
Arnie, you do not want to rest Odegaard against Nottingham Forest. Absolutely not. No. Because Arteta's not going to trust Vieira to start against Forest, mate.
No.
And K. Marlon, he was tonight. And you know what? Let's move on to that, because I do have a picture of these two bros and their bromance together, and we can go from one to the other. But he was so wasteful with the ball.
Yeah.
Every play up front was broken down because when he had possession, he did nothing.
Yeah.
He gets a 3.
Yeah.
That's it.
Again, we're in agreement. It's a 3. He looked lost. He legitimately, to me, looked lost. He got the ball. He either gave it away or he stopped, and he turned around and looked backward. He had a few flashes of potentially creating something, but then he would in 4 or 5 steps it would break down. He'd lose possession, and off we go. There's not much more I really can say about Fabio Vieira. He's been average at best over the last few games that he's made appearances in.
And I think it's fair to say, like I said, he should not be the fall guy here, as should not Sambi should not be. Doesn't play week in, week out. And Tierney shouldn't be. I mean, it's just a collective.
It is.
And I'm sure the gaffer in his post-match, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But if you've got any quotes, guys, bring them up from the gaffer. But I'm telling you, he'll say that as a team, they just didn't perform well. And we didn't create chances, but when we had a couple of chances late, we just couldn't finish them. So let's get to the front. Let's get to this guy. Oh, God.
I don't know what to say about Eddie, because he had his moments of brilliance last season at the end when he was getting the starts, and now all of a sudden it just seems like he's back to it's almost like just aimlessly running around the pitch. He gets the ball too far away from the goal, and then when he tries to shoot, it's blocked or he fires it over the net. He's a poacher if I've ever seen one. That's the play when he is leading the line. The play needs to build into the box, and we almost need to create havoc in the box, hope for a bounce that he gets his foot to, and it's a tap in. Because if we're counting on him to create, that's just not his game. He's not going to create for himself. Eddie,
Anna, we talk about drop off. Partey is a big drop off when someone else comes in. One of the biggest drop offs is not that, and Jesus isn't scoring, but he offers so much. Vinny agrees to the team. He offers so much to the team when he's pressing, when he's hustling off the ball, and it's important that other players kind of step up and get goals, right? But Jesus is paid to score goals. Eddie's paid to score goals. But what they offer the team when they're not scoring goals is night and day. It's the same thing with Aubameyang. When he wasn't scoring, he didn't offer anything. Eventually, Lacazette, he didn't offer anything, and it becomes a problem. And we need to go out and get, I'm not saying like a Mitrovic, but we need to go get someone who can change the game. Plan B, come on. If Kieran Tierney loves to cross the ball high, let's make that count. Have an option 20, 25 minutes to go where you've got to play like that. A Giroud, right? Someone who can offer the team something different. Yeah.
Yeah. I've said it before. I'll say it again. When it comes to goals in this team, Arteta isn't looking for a 25 to 30 goal a year scorer. He wants to spread the wealth. If we could get 45 goals between our front three, that's fantastic. If we can get 35 goal contributions from Gabriel Jesus, meaning goals and assists, that's fantastic. That's what this system and what Arteta wants to do. That's what this is predicated on. Newman, well done. Well, I love it.
You guys are on fire today.
Yes, you are. I love it.
Oh my God.
Absolutely love it.
Hilarious. Okay, so we could do all of the subs in one. Gabriel Jesus, Saka, Thomas Partey, Benjamin White, and Gab. Benjamin and Gab didn't really play as many minutes. No. Gabriel Jesus and Saka. I didn't think either one came on. If we were going to criticize the subs against Southampton coming on and not affecting the game, Tanner, they did not affect the game.
No. And sometimes the subs don't affect the game simply because there's just nothing left to affect of the game, if you will. You're coming on more for fitness than anything else. You're coming on to give the substituting player, a respite. In this case, these guys were brought on. Well, Saka and Jesus were brought on to affect the game. I think at that point the game was gone. And I don't really think there was much really left that they were going to do. They're going to get a 5, as I said before. They didn't affect the game. They were average. They didn't do anything to hinder it. They didn't do anything to affect it positively. It's a 5 for all of them. I will say that Saka, when he went down to ground and was trying to draw a free kick right outside the box, I saw the replay. He wasn't touched and it wasn't close. This was
he's done that 2 games in a row now, Tanner.
Yeah, this was, and then he kind of flops around on the ground like a petulant child. Mm-hmm. This is my problem. If I have one complaint about this game, this sport, not this game specific, the sport as a whole, this is it. Get up and run. You play to the whistle. I had a conversation the other day with guy I work with, and we were watching the game last night, and he said the shitbags game last night, and there was a call for an offside, and the defenders basically are running full bore, then they slow down to a jog because they say the guy's offside and they put their hand up. Stop that. Don't do that. You run till the whistle. You play to the whistle. If you don't hear a whistle, go. And that's just if I'm a coach and I see them, like if I were a coach and I could substitute players off on and off throughout the game, like they do it, U13s. If I see you do this because you think somebody's offside and you stop running, you're sitting.
I think that's coming. Who was it that we were speaking to? Not one of our guests. Was it Matt Spiro? No, someone was saying they can see in the future being able to have it like basketball, American football. You can just sub in and out.
You'd lose me at that point. That just really takes away from.
That's a whole other show right there.
Yes.
Before we forgot Martinelli's grade, by the way. He tried so hard that this dude, his heart will burst trying.
Yeah.
But again, he's playing a lot. He's having to do a lot. He's having to make up for others. Martinelli gets a 5 for me just because of the amount of effort, and he never gives up.
Yeah.
Today, I don't know what you thought.
Today, it would. I mean, I'd give him what I gave Tommy. I'm actually going to give him a 6 because he would be the other bright spot in this side for me today. I give him a 6. Just again, effort was there, and he was. You kind of always move to the edge of your seat a little bit more when the ball's on his foot and he's going at it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give him a 6. I thought he was a slightly above average compared to everybody else today.
Yeah.
So.
Thunder Road, one step at a time. We need timeouts and cheerleaders first.
Yes.
Going with that.
And goal songs. Like they were playing. Let's go. Like, come on.
All right.
So that's a whole other show too.
That's a whole other show. I'm
going to talk about the match day experience in one show. You guys know about it. That'd be great.
Okay. In 30 seconds, what's your rating for the gaffer today?
Oof.
That's some desperate substitutions at the end.
30 seconds, and I'm going to use 20 of it trying to 4. I just think when you're setting up to, I think he's set up to save fitness. I think he's set up to, not run the risk of injury, not run the risk of yellow cards. I think it was set up almost as a prevent defense, if I can coin an American football term. He just wanted to see this thing out. He just go out there and run around for 90 minutes, but don't try too hard. We need a draw to advance, to go straight into the round of 16. Let's just get that. Unfortunately, that's not the message to send to the players that he was starting today. If, I would have started Marquinhos, I would have started Reece Nelson, and I would have said, look, go show me something. Go get a result. I want to see hunger from the guys on the fringe that aren't getting the playing time. And I think he has a tendency to catch himself somewhere in the middle of go get it. Relax a little bit. It's a 4 for me today.
I agree with Arnie. He's set up for the draw. I think where I would like Arteta to evolve and grow and learn from his mistakes is he needs to manage games better. And I think today was an example of a game that he didn't manage particularly well. He didn't have to throw on everybody at the end. We didn't have to go balls out in that. We've already qualified. Okay, you don't want to play an extra game. You want to get a bye week. We want to avoid anyone coming out of the Champions League. But Kevin said last night, so if you want to win trophies and you're going to compete, you've got to play good teams and sometimes the best teams. And I think it was a little bit desperate at the end. What he tried didn't work. I give him credit for having the guts to try and change things, but was it necessary for him to do it in this particular game where the weekend's game far more important than this game? Kev said on the show last night, look, we've got Zurich at home. We win that game. We're in. We get the bye week. And I think that he made a couple of errors today. I thought that Gabriel Jesus was really injured in that when Eddie had that snatched chance at the end, I thought someone had gotten injured there. And luckily, nobody did. So, yeah, he gets a 5 for me today. He gets the extra point just for kind of, actually, what's the extra point for? Being gutsy. But then I said that he didn't have to be. He gets a 4.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It wasn't his best managed game. And he's really got to learn that getting in and getting out with no injuries, grabbing a point, Old Trafford, for example, you don't have to go gung-ho. Get a point at Old Trafford. There's no shame in that. Right? Be gung-ho. Yep. I love that about how he's developed into that type of manager. But it's not necessary to do that every single game. And I get it. He wants to win every single game. But even the best managers have learned how to manage games to come out with some type of result.
Sometimes a draw is not the worst outcome. And, and a draw today would have been, win would have been great. We always want to win. You play to win the game. Yes. But a draw today, no injuries, no cards, rest a few players. There would have been no shame in a draw today. I thought the way we ended the first half was about as low an intensity level as I wanted to see. I thought the way we came out, great. I thought we played very well the first 20 minutes.
It's not one of our best games. And
no.
Someone said my microphone sometimes, it's because I moved away from it. I wanted to lean back. I've been up since 5 a.m. doing some pre-records for you knuckleheads. So I was starting to wanting to recline in my chair and just kind of do this. Hey, dudes.
See, so that's why you need, hang on. See, that's why you need this thing here.
I know. I need a stand.
So that when you want to lean back, you can just pull this card here.
Yeah. All right. Here's what I say, Tanner. Let's get back to winning ways in the Premier League on Sunday against Nottingham Forest, who are coming off a euphoric win against Liverpool, which probably means that they spent a lot of mental and physical energy, and that probably left them exhausted and knackered and a little bit empty in the tank. We're playing at home. Are we going to be the type of team that comes back and punishes people like Liverpool bitch slapped Ajax after losing to Forest? Let's be that team. Let's take it out on Nottingham Forest this weekend. What say you, Tanner?
I think we will. I think getting back at home with the home fans in a Premier League game with the form as it's been. I mean, our home support has been tremendous this year. We're turning the Emirates into the fortress that we've talked about trying to turn it into in the past. And it's becoming that. The support is fantastic. If you're going, I don't know what just happened. Did I just see a samurai sword? I didn't know we could bring samurai swords to this. I have a samurai sword. What?
Did you leave yours at home?
I'm bringing a samurai sword. The next time I'm on, I'm bringing a samurai sword.
We've got all swords here. We've got Vinny. We've got Vespa.
We've got. I haven't seen the Vespa one.
Okay, and check this out.
I've seen that one. Yeah, I've seen that one. I haven't seen.
This is little Vespa. She loves Ramsdale, so Matthew kindly made
a awesome
gift for her. Yeah,
love that. Love that.
So go on. Finish your thought, Bearded.
Now let's get this win at home. Let's get back to winning ways and let's dominate. Let's put our foot on their throat early and let's not let up. It's the one thing with this team that I still want to see is if we get 2 in the first half, go get 2 more in the second half. It's not our job to stop scoring goals. It's our job to score goals. So go score. If we're up by 2, go get up by 4.
Totally. And Gooner Kai, I agree. Man United was a reality check. Leeds was a reality check. Southampton was a reality check. This game is a reality check. There's been 4 reality checks. The white courtesy phone is for reality checks.
Well done. Well done.
And some of your puns tonight have been first class. You're very punny, all of you. Very, very punny. Hit the like button, please. Chief Like Officer Tammy Stills. We've had 200 in live chat. Let's get it to 100. And then if you're listening on replay, please hit the like button. I'm sure there's going to be abundance of comments in the YouTube section. I look forward to reading them and seeing them. Tanner, let everyone know where they can find you other than your handle, which we have on screen.
Right there. Wait. Right there. There it is. I'm always backwards on this. Yes. The Bearded Gooner on Twitter. At the Bearded Gooner on Twitter. You can also search Bearded Gooner Media on YouTube, which is where I am headed directly after this. I will give my thoughts. I'm actually going to fly solo today. No, Ryan, he didn't get to watch the game, but I might talk him into coming on anyway.
If you offer him a beer, he'll come.
I gave him 10 beers. We were in Philadelphia for the fan fest. I took him and his wife. I took 4 ciders and 6 sour. He loves sour beer. But search Bearded Gooner Media on YouTube for me, please. If you would drop a subscription to my channel, I would be most appreciative. That's all I
Come
got.
on, come on, squaddies. Go give Bearded Gooner's channel a subscribe. Give him a follow on social. He'll be back throughout the season, helping out on some post-game shows. Love his take on stuff, and he's got a really good radio voice as well. So you'll enjoy his dulcet tones when he's talking about our Gunners. Right, we're 2-0 up, the women in the Champions League. Get in there. I think Hertig got her first goal. Apparently, Newman gives you a 10 out of 10. Saved the show today. Well done. Absolutely well done. So, listen, I will be back. Listen, tomorrow I'm actually going to cover LAFC before the Western Conference final. So look out on YouTube and Twitter for showtimes. Okay. And I'll definitely be back after the Forest game for a post-game show. Love you guys. No matter where in the world you may be, take care. Our wishes go to Pablo Mari. Please, let's hope he's safe. Yeah. And to all the people that were affected. Unfortunately, reports are coming in that maybe there is someone who may have lost their life, and let's hope that Pablo Mari and everyone else is going to be okay. Send your thoughts and prayers out, and listen, guys, take care, be safe. We love you, and at ease, people, at ease. Take care of yourselves out there in this world.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
The Highbury Squad is powered by ZENITH Coins. Support the future, treasure the past. Official licence partner of the Arsenal Football Club. Follow at ZENITH Coins across all social platforms.